But, I won't show you that, I have to live at home with my mum at the moment to do that. I've had to buy a great car, but it's an old car. It's got 150,000 miles on the clock. I don't show you any of that.
Morning, Gad. Thank
Morning.
you for joining our podcast series, Meet the Experts. So we joked about it before. I don't know why you're here, but here you are anyway as one of our experts.
Yep.
So feels a bit like deja vu, this, doesn't it? Do you want to sort of explain to everyone why we're here?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. I forgot to hit record.
Yeah.
And this is it's a bit worrying, really. This is my job. I can't even remember to hit the most important button.
But it was only the sound, wasn't it?
It was only the sound.
Yeah. So this is take 2 for everyone's benefit.
So embarrassing.
Meet the experts. So what I wanted to start on really first, Dad, is actually exploring your career today.
Yes.
How you got to this stage, why you got to this stage where you are now, and then we can obviously explore some of the benefits that we've seen from social media. So I'll open it up to you first.
Well, how far back do you want to go?
Up to you.
So I won't go all the way back, but obviously I had some sort of an interest in high school, the GCSEs, blah, blah, blah. Wasn't going to go to sixth form, decided that wasn't the idea for me, but then obviously my mum stepped in and said, well, you are. So went, took up like English language, history, business and media. Safe to say, failed English and history in great success. But then realised I wasn't really interested in it. That's the reason I wasn't, I was done GCSEs so long, was just bored of it. So dropped that, decided to make the hard decision of staying an extra year and took up film studies and interactive media. So I was studying business, media at A-level, BTEC digital and AS at film. And then, did really well. Got some good results. And then again, I wasn't really fussed by the idea of university, but decided to go again. Mum was like, well, you are. So
That's what mums are for.
That's what mums are for, yeah. Because I wanted to be in the police, but looking back, that would have been a terrible idea. So went, and then, ended up staying for originally 3 years, doing a BA in media, and then stayed on to do a combined master's. So you do 4 years instead of like 6 or 7. And it was the best decision I ever made, really. Started working in like nightclub promotions, doing photography there. That's where I learnt how to do what I do now. And then, kind of graduated from there. Got a first, not to go on about it.
As you do.
But that was great, but it only gets you so far having a certificate. So I went and worked, of all places, in the bereavement industry. I actually worked in a funeral company that streamed live funerals, which was an interesting job, which always gets an interesting reaction. But the idea behind it is great. The idea being that you could be in Australia and you can't make it to my funeral. Well, you can watch it online.
Yeah.
You can even have a DVD of it. So that was great. Learned the technology behind that. Started to learn a bit about business. Did that for a year. Got a bit depressed with that. And then went and worked for Toyota for a year. And then just made the decision that I just hated working for people and wanted to set up by myself. So I moved back home. And that was 4 years ago. And this is where I am now.
So you're based here with us in Florence House.
Yep.
You're very much, I see, part of our team, working with us for the social media, doing stuff like this, the podcasts, which for me as a business, and especially in financial planning, which, historically is boring. It's done in a certain way. It's not that exciting. We're trying to change that and breathe a breath of fresh air into the industry by being a bit more dynamic and being much more transparent. So this is the goal for us with social media, is having that glass door approach where clients can see us, they can see what we're doing, see what we're about, and show our personality, because we are people and we have got a good dynamic team with loads of different skills, and we want to get that across to our clients. So it does 2 things, hopefully for us. It attracts new clients, but also it cements the relationships that we have with existing clients. So that's how I see the power of social media. Flip it back to you being the expert here. How do you see social media being an asset to a business then, Ad?
I think similar to what you said, really. I think the power of social media is literally unlimited. The more, like with anything, the more you invest into it, and that doesn't mean necessarily financially, but the more time and thought you invest into it, the more you'll get out of it. I think, especially with you, for example, we've seen great results. I mean, you already had a good social media base to build upon, but I think, looking at the results that you've seen, It's not always about views and likes. It's about just creating awareness. Someone doesn't need to interact with a post. That doesn't mean that they're not going to come to you for business. Similarly, I work with PT Fitness. Been working with them for 4 years, and we've taken them, from, here all the way up to here, where they had no social media strategy. It was, Mike is the youngest person there, so that means he has to do social media because he's young. That's how it works in all businesses.
Yeah.
But we went in there, looked at what they were doing, what was working well, what wasn't working well, and we just built upon that, really. So I think for any business, it really has the power to transform your client base, the money you're seeing coming in. It really does. And it doesn't have to cost you anything.
No.
It really doesn't. It doesn't, whether that's, you might get someone like me to come in and consult with you initially and be like, okay, well, here's what you're doing, maybe change these strategies, try that yourself first. And then you might think, okay, we need more content. So you might come back to me to do that. So it really does have huge potential for any and all businesses, I think.
Well, before we talk about charging and fees and cost of services and so on, let's go back a step, because you made an interesting point there about client banks and client bases. Now, we discussed earlier on this morning, and we discussed it earlier on when we filmed this before.
In the original podcast.
About millennials, and actually millennials go up to about the mid-30s, I think up to 37. So millennials is a big part of the demographic in the UK now. And when we're looking at client banks and client bases, then if you fast forward 10 years, the people who are using social media today will be the future clients of tomorrow. So it's very important to engage with them now, isn't it, early doors, rather than just thinking, actually, it's just young people on social media. That isn't the case. And even if it is the case, they will age at some point and likely buy your services. But one of the stats I've come across recently, which I said before, is about Facebook users. And I think 60% of 65-year-olds are on Facebook, which is a staggering amount of people. So if you're a business, you'll likely want to be attracting a lot of them. So it's not just about who's on it today, is it? It's about the tomorrow aspect of social media.
No, I think that's it. The range of people using social media now, it is huge. And I think we do typically tend to think, right, it's just millennials, or it's just whatever they're called after that. I can't remember what they're called, but the
Zennials, isn't it?
Gen Z or something.
Yeah, that's it.
Whatever they are, it's very easy to just think of them, because my generation, the millennials, we invented social media. We've grown up with it. It's normal. But there is obviously there is a huge group of people older, and like I said, retirees use it. Again, using the gym as an example, say a lot of our clients there are retirees. But it's the best way to communicate with people. It just is.
But that social element is really key, isn't it? There's loads of Facebook groups on there that are about community projects that are going on, charities, events. This is not just about, I'm having a great day, I'm on holiday, put a snap. It's actually engaging and having almost that forum, isn't it?
That is you've hit the nail on the head. That's the key with social media. Is if you're like a brand new business, or say for example you're a personal trainer, you're just starting up, it's making that differentiation between, right, this is no longer me showing my friends how many coffees I've had today, look at my dog, look at like how great my life is. That ends when you start, because it's about, right, I need to show potential clients and my current clients what I'm doing day to day and how that makes me the right choice for them in whatever business that is. And I think that's the key, is making that differentiation between your personal life and your business life.
Well, before you go any further then, 3 tips that you should be thinking about on how to use social media, and 3 tips that you shouldn't be doing on social media.
Okay, so...
And start with the ones that you shouldn't be doing, I suppose.
Yeah, so big don'ts are, as we just said, this is a business social media from now on. So whilst it's important to have some personality in your social media, we don't want to know your personal life.
Yeah.
So there is nothing wrong with, if you're a small business owner, it's important to share life events, like if you just had a newborn baby or you've been engaged or whatever, that's fine. What we don't want to see are the negative things. It's very easy. Again, millennials, we're oversharers. We love to share everything, no matter how personal it is. And we feel that pressure to do that, but we don't want to know about who's annoyed you or breakups you've had or things like that, because it just, whilst it maybe shouldn't, it does create a bad image. And we're all judgmental people. We all create that first image based on that. So don't do that. Don't invest too much time in the wrong social medias.
Yeah.
So I think, again, we see it a lot around here. That Twitter is a huge social media platform and it's great. But the problem is with it is that you're not always perhaps using the right social platform for that. So if you're a brand new company and you're launching a brand new product, whilst you should hit Twitter, don't rely on that, because Twitter is a conversation platform. So every second there's a new tweet coming up, and because it's done in chronological order, yours will disappear to the bottom.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to get featured towards the top. So look at your socials, but also I would say don't spend too much time trying to target the wrong people.
Right.
If you are a youthful company and you are, say you're a kids football academy, you need to be targeting kids and their parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's doing the right kind of research on your customers, and obviously the do's then kind of are the mirrored of that. But I think the big do with social media is just being consistent. We did that seminar last week, and an interesting point that was raised that kind of hit me quite like smack in the face really was, I don't know what to post because I feel like I have a boring life.
Yeah.
And it's like, and this is a do and a don't.
And that's a big fear with social media, isn't it? That it creates depression, anxiety, because everyone else has got this brilliant life and I haven't.
And it's just, none of it's real. I'd be the first to say, you go on my social media, none of it's real. I'm going to show you, I put a tweet out about this recently and on LinkedIn, we feel such pressure to share the best version of ourselves that we actually forget who we are. Like, I'm very lucky that I've worked in some great places. I've been to travel the world. I get to work with people like you, and every day is different. There's always a new struggle. There's always a new achievement. There's something. But, I won't show you that, I have to live at home with my mum at the moment to do that. I've had to buy a great car, but it's an old car. It's got 150,000 miles on the clock. I don't show you any of that, because we all create this false image of ourselves. And I just feel we're putting too much pressure on ourselves. Whereas if with business, you obviously want to show your achievements. We're never going to say when we're finding it hard or anything, but just having that level of transparency is so important, and not getting sucked into this. And it can be an evil thing. I think we put too much pressure on ourselves to look a certain way, and social media does fuel that, unfortunately.
So let's go back to some of your expertise then. Yeah. So you mentioned there quickly, you've had the opportunity to work with some great people, and to be fair, from an outsider's perspective, looking at who you've worked with, Sir Bradley Wiggins, Anthony Joshua, Turkish Airlines, I think one of the Gallaghers is on your wall. So these are some big firms and names. That can put people off because say, well, actually, that's not right for me. It's going to cost me thousands and thousands of pounds just to have a headshot.
Exactly.
Now, I can vouch clearly, we're a small firm. We're just looking to create a transparent social media approach. So we pay you a monthly retainer, which is very modest, to be fair, and it's great value, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So what do you say to people who might be thinking you're not right for them? Who's your ideal client, and who are you looking to work with?
I mean, I would say I work with anyone and everybody. Again, going back to what we were saying about showing the best version of you, those people are on my wall because they're exciting people, and I feel very lucky that I've got to work with them, and it's helped build my experience to where I am. And it does help bring new customers in, but you're right, it has a very negative effect as well. People do instantly think, oh, he must be charging thousands a day. I can tell you now, there's no money in famous people at all. For me, my ideal customers are, I'm all about working with small to medium-sized businesses at the moment. And that comes from, obviously want regular work in the immediate area, but also I'm a big believer in helping smaller businesses. I'm a small business. I work by myself. It's just me. I know the importance of having somebody that you can rely upon when you need them. So I work with literally any type of company, any type of person, no matter what trade you're in, services you offer, products you offer. I cover all of that, whether that be photography, videography, podcasts, design, web, social media management. The whole spectrum is covered within social media. Right. We do. And in terms of the offers that we do, we said we can do a retainer-based option, which I feel works well I think it can work well for any company, to be honest. You save money, obviously, in doing that, but it's also a great way to do it if you want to be pushing content out regularly.
As I say, it leads on to that consistency element of social media.
Exactly. That's where it really comes into play, because out of a one-day shoot, as you know, we'll do this all, today, and you're sorted for a month.
Yeah.
And that's just my content. I'll always encourage customers to do their own, because that gives you that real, true, transparent content. But again, if you want to be putting out that regular content every day for one day a month, you're pretty much covered.
Yeah.
But also on the flip side, not everyone wants that. Not everyone's got the budget to do that on a monthly basis. So we can do one-off days, whether that be a photo shoot or a video shoot, or you want me to come in for a day to look at your social media platforms, how they're performing, literally anything really, we can take care of that.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing, actually, because clearly you know how to use a camera.
I do.
You've done these podcasts, which are great, but you've also done our corporate headshots.
Yeah.
And again, that's really helped just our sort of brand imaging and allowing clients to see who's actually in the firm and have a nice picture on the website. It does help, doesn't it, having a nice image to who the team are.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, I think that's it. I pride myself in the fact that I have an understanding of everything. And especially for those smaller to medium-sized businesses, that's where having like someone like me come in works. And I would always say, I'm not disillusioned as other people that do what I do. I think whoever you go to, similarly like with you, the more they can do for you, the better, because you can go to one person, you pay one fee, and that's it. So I think that is a big an appeal to me, that I can help you with everything. And if for some reason there's something I can't do, I know someone who can. So yeah, definitely.
No, that's very similar to how we're positioning ourselves here at Florence House, having a solicitor, financial advisor, an accountant all in one place. It does, because otherwise I think you create more costs having to get different experts in to do different bits here and there. Great. Question for you then that I didn't ask before. Where do you think ASM Media is going? What do you think the future holds? What's going to be your challenges? Just, look into your crystal ball. And what do you see?
I don't know. I've learned not to plan, but almost have no expectations about anything, because as you know, it's a ruthless game working for yourself and starting something. But I think 4 years ago, it was just getting paid one invoice a month. And I'm very lucky through hard work that it's grown and I am where I am. I'd like to say, I'm glad that I'm working in, an established office now. That was the next step. So we've got a proper address, somewhere where clients can actually come in.
Yeah, it's great to see you had the meeting yesterday. In the meeting
and it makes a huge difference. I love for clients or potential clients just to come in. It costs nothing to just come and speak to me. I have no interest in charging people for a conversation. You get to come into my office, there's loads of sweets, there's loads of cool drinks.
It is a true story, everyone.
It's a wicked office. Yeah. It's a cool office.
Yeah.
So I think for the future, though, that's it. I want to be working with local businesses. I moved away from mould for 7 years, and I'd be the first to admit that I probably was like, it's mould, it's a small town, there's nothing there. Well, I've moved back here and I've created a business that I'm incredibly proud of, and I still get to do all the cool things I do. And that's what I want to do, is I want to help smaller businesses get to where they want to get to. And that's it. Images and videos can do that. Similarly with what you do to make smart financial decisions, they will come and speak to you. Yeah. And again, they could do that, and that's the right thing to do for that. But when it comes to marketing in general, that's what I want to help people do and say, yeah, you know what, actually, if you're like a small bakery, maybe you do need to be doing more print-based media, and I can help you with that. Or maybe you should transition more to social media. So the idea with what I'd like to do is make ASM Limited still be out there, still traveling the world, doing all that. But I am really, really passionate about local businesses now. And I'd like to be the number one person, influencer really, to go to.
Great. Now that's something we share in common, to be fair. We love small businesses. We think lots of small businesses creates a really robust economy.
Yeah.
We all see the horror stories of big firms going bust and hundreds of jobs being lost at once.
Exactly.
Whereas if there's more small businesses that we can work together and support, then hopefully it gives more job security. So I share that completely. Well, thanks for your time.
No worries.
Thanks for doing it twice for us. It's great to have you in front of the camera, and it's good to know a little bit more about you, because as I said, I very much see you as part of our team here now, opening up financial planning. Let's make it a bit more exciting, we're not all falling asleep
No,
behind our desks
definitely not.
with the old Arabicus thing going on. It's a bit more dynamic than that.
Is.
So
No.
thank you for helping us on that journey.
Thank you.
Cheers, Ad.